Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to be walking you through the NSLI application. My name is Justuna and I participated in the NSLI Academic Year program for Mandarin in Taiwan. If you're watching this video, you're probably planning on applying for NSLI, so I just want to let you know that I have a lot of really great resources. I already have a lot of videos and information about my application. I already have and I am planning on making more videos and other resources that are going to be really helpful for you during the NSLI application process. I will talk about my tips for the essays, choosing and writing your extracurricular activities. I talk about my own experience with NSLI and my experience with the interviews. I even give my own statistics and essays for examples. I have templates for you to plan your extracurricular activities and plan and write your essays. And I will even look at some of your essays and help you revise them. Anyways, I have all of that linked in the description below. Some of it might not be out yet, but hopefully by the time you're watching this video, it will be. So make sure to check it out. Anyways, the NSLI application is due on November 2nd and the recommendations and parent statement is due on November 9th. So it's a good idea to get started on your application, but without further ado, let's get into the walkthrough. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is go to this website. This is the American Council's website, and American Council's is the leading organization that implements the NSLI program. And it is through their website that you can also apply for the Flex Abroad and Yes Abroad. The first thing you're going to do is go right here to create an account. And I already have an account created, but here is where you would put your username. And then choose a password, write your password again. Make sure to keep track of your username and password because you are going to be using this information not only for your application, but also even after you get accepted. There's going to be surveys and questionnaires that you're going to have to do as well. And your first and last name and email address. Make sure you put in a valid email address because they will require you to verify it. Then you have to do this CAPTCHA right here. I already have an account created, however, so I'm just going to go ahead and log in. Okay, so right here are your forms, which is where you will be able to open your application. And right here you can see that I have already submitted the NSLI application before. You won't see this on your own. You'll only see the Study Abroad program application. So you're going to go ahead and open it up, and you're going to put where you currently live. And then you are going to put in your birthday. Alright, and then this is just some information about your data. And then you have to go ahead and consent to these. Alright, and then once you have all the consent forms filled out, you can go ahead and start your application. And now this is just basic eligibility requirements. And then right here is where you choose the programs that you're applying to. And in this tutorial, we're only doing NSLI. Make sure to save frequently, and then to go to the next section, you just click this arrow right here. And this right here is the sections of all of the application and everything you will have to fill out. Alright, this section is just general information about the program and important due dates. The NSLI application is due on November 2nd at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, so make sure to convert that into your own time zone, and then you have another week to get your recommendations and parent statement. That's due on November 9th. But keep in mind that you should ask your teacher or counselor for a recommendation 3 to 4 weeks before the recommendation is actually due. On this page, they give you very specific information on how to apply, the terms and conditions, and some other technical information. This next section here is also pretty simple, basic information. You have your personal information, school information, place of birth, passport and citizenship, and contact information. Now, this next section here is where you will again certify your eligibility. This is a section that you will need to put in information about your parents and also an emergency contact. In this section, you're going to be talking about the experience that you've had traveling and studying abroad before. I do believe that NSLI gives preference to those who have not studied abroad with the U.S. Department of State before, because they want to give everyone equal chances and opportunities. In this next section right here, you will start to talk about your activities and hobbies. Now, the first section is activities, athletics, and organizations. They ask you to put it in the order of the most recent to the oldest, but you can't put anything in that you haven't participated in the last 3 years. You will have to put in the name of the activity, the description of the activity, hours per month, and your start and end date. They specifically say to put in the organizations and activities that you value the most and the activities that are most relevant to NSLI, such as language learning. The next section down here also allows 7 entries and only 25 words, and it's about creative work, hobbies, and special training. This last section over here is just internship, paid work, and jobs. And unless you're a teenage workaholic, you're probably not going to fill up all 7 slots. Now, for all of the extracurricular activities, you have a very, very limited word count, and I'm going to be making a separate video on how to make every word count, so make sure to go check that out. Now, this part allows you to put honors, awards, and special recognition that you have received. This is where you upload your transcripts. You can actually upload unofficial transcripts as long as it reaches all of the criteria that they have listed above. On this page, you can upload your transcripts directly, as you can see in that screenshot, but since I didn't fill out any of my information, they don't give me that option. In this section, you have to download their terms and conditions as a PDF and then sign it and re-upload it. This is the recommendation page, and you will have the option to input your recommender's contact information so they can submit the recommendation for you. Again, just like the transcripts, I can't actually put in this information because I haven't filled out the application yet, but you can look at this screenshot for reference. Just a reminder that the deadline to submit the recommendation is November 9th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. You should always ask for your recommendation around 3 to 4 weeks before the deadline, and 4 weeks before November 9th is October 12th. This is just a courtesy to your recommender, so they will have plenty of time to get your recommendation done. In this section, you will have to submit your parent/legal guardian statement, which is also due on November 9th. Alright, now we're in the writing section of the application. This self-introduction to your host family and instructors isn't necessarily an essay, but they will consider it as a part of the application, and if you get accepted, they will potentially give it to your host family and instructors. So in this letter, you not only want to make a good impression on the NSLI application reviewers, but also your host family and instructors. I'm going to be making a much more in-depth video about the NSLI essays, which includes this letter to the host family and instructors. I will be giving you my best advice for writing these essays, so make sure to go check that video out. This next section has 3 essays. However, if you're applying for the summer program, you only have to write 2 of the essays. Again, make sure to go check out my other video for me to break down all of the essay questions and my best tips and advice for writing the essays. This next section gives you an opportunity to talk about any other languages that you have learned before or that you already know. In this section, you get to put your first and second choice for the programs that you want to participate in. I'd just like to mention that some of the NSLI programs are a lot more competitive than others. For example, the Korean summer program is a lot more competitive than the Mandarin academic year program. So if you put a really competitive program as your second choice, you're likely not going to get it. This section, you have to talk about your language experience. For me, it's saying null because I haven't selected a program. But basically, NSLI does not have a placement test to know where your language level is at. Rather, they will ask you a bunch of questions on the application for you to rate your own understanding of the language. Then they will use this information to put you in a cohort of other students who have similar language level. So you can take a look at this screenshot right here of what the questions are. They're all yes or no questions. And if you're not too sure whether you should say yes or no to a question, I would say yes, because in my opinion, it is better to be challenged and to be around people who potentially may speak the language a little bit better than you, rather than people who speak it worse than you. This next section, you will talk about your exchange experience again, so they can know if you've participated in an exchange program before. And again, they've stated on their website that they give preference to people who have not studied abroad with the U.S. Department of State before. Now, this section is just basic information about your allergies or any accommodations you might need, so they can use this information to place you with the right host family. This next section is just for NSLI statistics. It's not going to affect your application. It's just so they know what kind of people are applying to NSLI. This is the final section where you can review and submit your application. Good luck on your NSLI application!